Hey there, it's Amy with My Learning Garden. I thought because I started the garden without you, I would give you guys a little garden tour. I'm just out here enjoying the Oregon evening. It's so nice, it's not raining. So I thought I would give you a little bit of a tour and show you what I've been doing this spring because I unfortunately have been so busy. I started the garden without you, but hopefully we can catch up together. So let's do a little walkabout and see what we've done. Over in the Smart Pots garden, I planted strawberries, and I have a couple of potato towers. I have my beautiful bleeding heart plant that has overwintered 2 years in a row. I'm so excited. Every time it comes back, it's just amazing. Like, I just truly can't believe that it just comes back. It's like the sweetest plant ever. Loving it. I planted over here, I have parsnips and carrots. I decided that I wanted to try to start trying something different. Like, everybody knows broccoli, everybody knows cauliflower, but so we started buying like a vegetable of the month, and so I found parsnips, and oh my goodness, I'm like obsessed and I love them. So I thought I would grow them. Fun fact, parsnips aren't just like a quick little crop. Like, they literally are gonna grow for like 18 months. So I hope they do well. Back here, I have a bunch of transplants that I still have not done anything with. That lonely little Kellogg's breakfast plant, she's a little crooked, and so I'm trying to decide what I'm gonna do with her. But don't despair, I have 40 other tomato plants, so we have a few to take care of. So there are some extra kale plants and some extra Swiss chard plants. I have already planted those and given several away. I started my seeds in January, I think mainly because I was bored. I really shouldn't have done that because it's still really, really early, so I hope that everything does well. So this entire bed is Swiss chard. I have some yellow chard, red rainbow chard, and then a couple of different kinds of kale. And then I had oregano overwinter, which was really exciting. That's the second year that has done the overwintering. And then I decided to plant some wild seeds. So I'll have a little wildflower patch right here. And I really want to this year incorporate a lot of flowers instead of just vegetables. I want to bring in the pollinators because, as y'all know, you can't grow anything if your flowers don't get pollinated, so, or your blossoms. So I wanted to bring in some extra flowers, so I did that. Here is this gigantic, gorgeous artichoke. So in case you didn't know, and I didn't, artichokes are perennial. And this sweet artichoke I bought last year. It was like 3 teeny tiny leaves, and I thought I was just done. I cut it back to the dirt like everything that I read. It grew back over the winter, and it is maybe 3 or 4 feet tall and 4 feet wide. I mean, it's my raised boxes are 3 foot by 6 foot. It literally spans 3 feet. So crazy exciting to see that happened. Planted some garlic, and I have some beets, and then I planted some peas and lettuce. We have our rosemary that overwintered in both of those pots. More peas. I did do some fun, exciting things, and I did an arch over every single raised box so you can kind of see. I put in almost like cattle panel, but it's 2 by 3 inch squares, and so I plan to do a lot of vertical gardening this year. So I started out with peas, and then I went ahead and planted tomatoes, which it's super early, but I couldn't transplant them anymore. I transplanted them from peat pellets, and then I put them into cups, and they just started yellowing. So I was like, you know what? Let's go ahead and put them in the ground. Worst case scenario, I have backups in the greenhouse, which is pretty exciting. So, but right here, this is Swiss chard that it wintered over. So I need to do some research. I didn't know that Swiss chard was a perennial. So it just came back. So, I mean, I'm down with that. That's kind of cool. It just messed up my entire plan for this was supposed to be the tomato box. I have potato towers right here. I have herbs that came back. I have some mint that a good friend of mine gave me, so it's like a mojito mint. And then I have cilantro, I have some parsley, I have some lemon mint, some oregano. So it all kind of overwintered, which is really exciting. I have the blueberries that came back, and I took out, I don't know if y'all remember from last year, but I had this god-awful fence that was right here. We have this huge ivy wall. Like, I'm talking huge ivy wall. So I went, oh look, the girls are going to bed. My little chicky babies. So I decided to take out the fence, so I had a little bit more growing space. So these are going to be sugar pumpkins. I grew pumpkins last year, and it was the best pumpkin pie I have ever had. So super excited to grow pumpkins this year. It was so satisfying to, I mean, it was a lot of work. I'm not gonna lie, it was a lot of work, but it was super fun to plant the pumpkins, grow the sweet pumpkins, and then roast them off, and then like literally make a Thanksgiving pumpkin pie. It was just stupid amazing. So highly recommend you that you do that. Over here I have tomatoes. So this is the third year of the Learning Garden, and every year so far I have said, I am not going to grow 40 tomato plants. Who needs 40 tomato plants? Well, apparently this girl does. So I did it again. So I am giving some of them away, but I grew a lot of tomato plants. So I have my favorites, which is Kellogg's Breakfast. Kellogg's Breakfast, which is this beautiful orange, like huge tomato. And then I have Cherokee Purple. Those are tried and true, amazing. Like, just put a little bit of olive oil, salt and pepper on them, and some fresh basil. Whew, you'll be making some friends, girlfriend, I'm telling you right now. And so now this year I am doing Bonnie Best, which is again a big beefsteak. I have something called a Big Rainbow. I'm trying out a new tomato trellis. Usually I do a cattle panel. This was $7 at Lowe's, and I thought it's the same price as doing a cattle panel, so I will go ahead and try that. So we'll see how that goes. I'm also growing San Marzano, which is a really good tomato for doing pastas. So I have a ton of those. And again, because today is April 23rd, I'm in Oregon. It's garden zone 8B. We are nowhere close to warm temperatures. So these sweet tomatoes might not do well. And that's okay. If they decide that they're not going to do well, I got a backup plan in the greenhouse. I have at least one of every plant that I've planted just as a backup. So hopefully it doesn't come to that, but you know, it's a learning garden. So you can kind of see I did arches over each and every box. I wanted to try to double my growing space. So I went ahead and planted some green beans, and I mean, they're coming up, but I already have like slugs or something that are eating on them, and it's really kind of ticking me off. So I have to figure out what that's about. I did get ladybugs, but ladybugs aren't going to eat an entire snail. And I'm sorry, it's Oregon and I have allergies. So I have this sweet little headboard. It's a garden bed. Hee hee ha ha. My husband and boys totally made fun of me, but I'm like, that is the sweetest thing I've ever seen. I have a garden bed. So I am growing some green bean starts inside. I have some bush beans, and then I have some pole beans. The pole beans obviously will go over the arches, and then bush beans in this entire box. So I direct seeded some of them. They didn't come up. Again, completely did not expect for them to come up because it's only been like in the 60s. Our overnights are still 50. So kind of advantageous, but you know, I thought I would try. But I got backups inside. So another beautiful arch right here. We have some onions. I did the red onions on this section. I started those from seed. However, I decided to grow or to buy some onion starts. And so these are some beautiful yellow onions, and then these are the red onions. So it makes me kind of wonder, I started these seeds for the red onions in January, And then I bought these little onion starts. They're like little baby onion bulbs. And you can see the difference, like how big these are compared to the onion seeds. I mean, I don't know, would I have started them earlier? I don't think so, but you can completely see the difference. So, I don't know. Again, learning garden, need to do more research on that. I have all of these crazy bluebell bulbs that are gorgeous, but they are obnoxious because I built the boxes on top of them thinking that you could like drown out a bluebell. No, you cannot drown out those bulbs. They just will not die. So I have radishes, I have a little row of beets, and then I have a bunch of kale and Swiss chard. So I'm super frustrated with the radishes. Something is already eating them. Again, it's still kind of cold. It's the end of April. It's April 23rd. And there's already little teeny tiny like buggies eating on it. So today I went through and I thinned them out, which I know everybody watching this, anybody who's a gardener knows that I like thin these out way too late. So I thinned them out anyways. And I found like these little centipede looking things, and I had like the little like black potato bugs. I don't know what's eating them. So I went ahead and released ladybugs last week. I'm going to release some more tonight in hopes that I can maybe combat that, but I have yet to have success at all with growing radishes. I mean, they grow, but they have holes, and I don't want to eat it because it's just gross. Like, I don't want to eat a bug. It's disgusting. So I have a teepee, and I have peas that are growing around the teepee. I do have some little lettuce patches that are going on around the outside. And then, because again, I got a little cray-cray and I started the squash indoors. I have a yellow squash and I have a green squash. They started getting really yellow in their cups, and I couldn't delay it anymore, so I went ahead and planted them. So here's my yellow squash. Like, it already has like bloom sets. So I could be doing something terrible right now by trying to grow peas and squash in the same space. Squash is a summer warm weather type of vegetable, so it's going to require warmth and it's going to require sun. So I thought, well, if the peas are growing, yes, it's going to shade it out, but by the time the peas fizzle out, then the squash will be big. So we'll have to check back on this. We'll have to see. I don't know if that's like the smartest plan, but I thought 12 garden boxes would be enough, and I have every single box filled with something, and I don't have enough space. Like, I legitimately don't have enough room. I feel like I need 5 acres to do everything that I want to do. I mean, I'm a family of 4. I have 2 adult children who are going to be moving out soon, so it's just my husband and I, but I feel like I still need to grow enough food for the army. I mean, who doesn't do that? What good mother doesn't do that? Here is my asparagus bed, and this is the second year. I did buy 2-year crowns, and I got a tiny little baby harvest, which was super, super exciting. So with asparagus, I don't know if you can really tell in the video or in the picture. So these are like teeny tiny, they're skinny. You know, you can kind of see against my hand. They're like super skinny, skinny, skinny. You want to let these grow. You want that to flower because it's going to get the energy from the sun. It's going to develop into a better root system. But something like this one is bigger. This is something that I would pinch off and I would eat. So with asparagus, the skinny ones, you want to let them go. They'll turn into this beautiful fern and this beautiful flower. And that's actually really, really good for the plant. Don't cut that back. Just let it die back on its own. I did harvest some the other night, which was so fun. We actually did kind of a side-by-side comparison, and I had bought organic store-bought asparagus, and then I picked my own, and my own was so much better. I couldn't even believe it. Like, it literally was this bright green. It was delicious, like so sweet. So I'm excited. I figure, you know, asparagus, it is a perennial. I mean, if you're going to plant asparagus, it's 15 to 20 years. So find a place that you can live with it. I'm doing mine in raised beds. So if I don't love it here, or we decide to buy a bigger property, because I mean, let's face it, I really need more room to garden. My husband disagrees, but I can take these with me, which is really cool. So I'm doing potatoes in 2 different ways. It's a little hokey, but I want to experiment. So this side of the garden doesn't get a whole lot of sun. So I had a bunch of composting old hay from my chicky babies, and I decided to grow potatoes, and I'm just layering up. This is literally just composted hay. And I'll be darned, those potatoes started sprouting. So I am gonna use my little white fencing. I bought it at Lowe's for, I don't know, $10, $12, just to kind of cage it in. And every time it grows up a little bit, I'm gonna cover that potato sprout with just a little bit more hay. And the more you cover it up, the more potatoes hopefully you would get. So we're trying that over here more in a shaded area. I didn't think at all that it was gonna work. I miss Maddie May. But it did really well. And then over here, I have my other potato towers, which these get full sun all day, like literally 10 hours a day. And you can see, I planted these a week before the other ones that I just showed you. They're doing fantastic. So I'm super excited to see how they do this year. Another little experiment. This is a black cherry tomato. Started again from seed, put it in an old nursery gigantic pot that I had. So I'm going to try to do a black cherry tomato in a pot, and then I also have 2 black cherries intermixed in the boxes. So again, total of 40 tomato plants this year. Don't mind my pool. We had a leak in it, which worked out because it was like building Noah's Ark this year. We had so much rain, so thankfully we had a leak in the pool because we would have been like completely flooding. So that will be fixed very soon. And then I'm going to take a little peek over at the greenhouse. Lead the way, Maddie May. Lead the way. So this is my sweet greenhouse that my husband and boys got me a couple of years ago. It's a Harbor Freight, and it's actually done really well. Primarily a lot of storage, to be honest. I just don't know how to use a greenhouse yet. I do a lot of seed starts on the indoors, but I really just haven't done a good job of researching greenhouses. So here's my backup plan. All of these are tomatoes. Again, I have a San Marzano, I have Kellogg's Breakfast, Marion, Big Rainbow, Bonnie Best, and Black Cherry. Again, I think I have 40 or 42 tomato plants. So this is my backup plan. I literally just transplanted these yesterday. Started them from peat pellets from seed, and then I moved them up into styrofoam cups, and then yesterday I just moved them into the bigger pots. So their leaves are kind of yellow, like really yellow. You can really tell that they're just kind of stressed out. They're like, give me more nutrients. So I did, giving them Trifecta Plus as a starter fertilizer. That's something that I get from MI Gardener. It's a slow release and a quick release fertilizer. And I mixed in some worm castings. I'm so sorry I didn't do a video, but I kind of feel like I am racing against the clock every single day. Like between working full time, I am actively in my motorcycle club, the Litas, my husband's motorcycle club. So I'm a busy mama. So I will do better. I will do much better about trying to do videos for y'all. I mean, there's like 17 subscribers, and I appreciate every one of you, like every single one of you. So remember this video when I have like 1 million viewers, and you'll be like, I was the original 17. So this was a fun little project too. This is actually a jar. I got this at Lowe's. It was on clearance for, I don't even know why. There was nothing wrong with it. It was like $7. And it was basically, so back to the roots. It came with a jar, and it has this little tiny thing that's like this terracotta little waterer, and I fill that up like once a week. This one's a cherry tomato. I planted it on February 19th in a jar. There's no drainage at all. Like it's crazy. And I'll be darned, like it's got flowers. Like it's literally like flowering. So I started indoors and I moved it out to the greenhouse, and this is where it's been. And I've done nothing but fill up the little water reservoir once a week. And it's got these sweet little flowers. So I feel like I have to do like my other ones and kind of tickle the flower, you know. I don't know. It's crazy. So we'll see. I'm really curious to find out. It's a cherry tomato, so we'll see how many cherry tomatoes I actually get from it. So that is your end of April garden tour. Again, I am so sorry that I did not bring you along the journey with starting from seed. Did that last year, had great response, but I just honestly did not have time. So I will bring you along the journey again this year with Amy's Learning Garden, and we will watch this baby grow. We should have a whole bunch of food growing because I have incorporated so much vertical growing space that it literally has given me, gosh, I think when we calculated it, I think each arch gives me 100 square feet growing space. So I don't know, I have like 500 or 600 extra growing, 500 square feet extra growing space. So we will see how it goes. But anywho, I hope you guys have a wonderful evening, and I hope that you like and subscribe to this video and my channel, and you can watch us grow together. All right, y'all, have a great night. Thank you.